So this is me, of course. And is the clicker working? Not working? Ah, wait, too much. I click too much. I click too much. I click too much. This is also me. So again, I started when I was a kid on my Commodore 64, started working as an engineer when I was 18. So I'm lucky enough to be young, but to have like 25 years of experience building products. I started with the first two, probably you don't know them, two failed social network vertical for pregnant women and for book lovers many years ago in the era of forums. Then I think Just Eat, Get Your Guide, Indie Campus, you might know a little bit better. And then WeRoad is my last gig, right? So I have a little bit of experience on building communities, building e-commerce, building content management system, and doing all that stuff. So WeRoad, you said. So some of you knows WeRoad. For those that don't, I need to do a little bit of an explanation of who we are and how we work. Coming video, again, disclaimer. I hope my marketing team never sees this, because this is like a 3 minutes video that I chopped up into a 30 seconds video to show you who WeRoad is.
Everyone travels for a different reason. Break out of your boring routine, to go somewhere you've never been, to scream so loudly your lungs burn. It's fine, trust us, we all look rough. But you'll learn to love the eye bags and embrace your brain with jet lag. Because guess what? Travel isn't perfect. People who go from them to friends, that share every moment until the sweet bitter end, because it's here that you'll find your reason why.
All of these, go and look at the original one, is a bit nicer. So these all chopped up. But to explain that we're just not a travel company where you book your ticket and you go and that's it. But big part of it is the people you travel with and the friends you make. Our motto is fundamentally, you bring your backpack, we bring your friends. So that's kind of generally how it works. Small group tour, 10, 15 people, 25 to 49 on the road. We have a bunch of people that we call coordinators, and they're the people that we send on trip to kind of help coordinate the group travel. And you will understand later why I'm explaining you all of these. At the center of WeRoad is what we call the community. So these people, the coordinators that are a big part of it, they organize events and they get people together. But fundamentally, this is our flywheel. So we acquire travelers through usual channels, social, CRM, blah, blah, blah. Many of them do become coordinators. So they travel with us, they do a few trips, then they like the thing, and then they take more responsibility. Coordinators fundamentally travel for free. Actually, we pay them to go and travel. So there is an incentive for travelers and people that like to organize travel to do that. Some of them also become travel producer, which means that they can design their own dream trip and then sell it through our platform, which is a big plus. So travel, weekends, events. So these people and the destination management company are the one that create the supply that attract more customers, right? So this is our flywheel. And in the center, of course, the community of all these people. When we look at the customer behavior, generally, as I said before, we acquire them through Facebook, Instagram, social channels. Usually either they come on our website where they look at the possible trips. Then they usually go, we have a Facebook group called Solo Travelers United, where you can go and talk to other people that might be interested in trip. Very often they go to events. So we used to organize a lot of events through Meetup, Eventbrite, lots of platforms. Then they go on trip and then they stay in contact through WhatsApp, Instagram, and so on. So this is usually how it works. Again, some numbers, 2024. In 2024, we organized 2,500 events through Meetup and other platform. We have plenty of WhatsApp social groups, all organic, super disorganized, zero control about everything. Big question, right, for us is how do we turn the platform, which fundamentally up until a few months ago only to care about the travel, not about events and about others, into a year-round movement, right? So how do we make this flywheel go faster, and how do we make the community a growth engine? Then this happened. So these are Paolo and Fabio, the two of the three co-founders of WeRoad that went to the Web Summit, saw Les Amis, saw Time Left, saw this big wave of startup working on in real life experiences. It's like, and they came back and they would say like, we're super pumped up from what we've seen. We've seen lots of ideas. So what happened? founder mode happens, and they come to me, and Paolo asks me, Simone, for this summer, you have 10 weeks to launch an app for events for WeRoad in the 5 markets, 5 languages, migrate all the supply from Meetup and Eventbrite into our own platform and make it work. It's like, yeah, we just need to build a brand identity, launch the app, generate enough supply, go to market. Easy. Yes, Paolo, we're going to do it. So what do? MVP, 10 weeks to launch. Kick-ass team. Small team, couple of developers on the left, a designer and a product manager. Fully focused. Guys, you only have to do this. I actually did the first version of the app with Cursor on a weekend. Then the real engineers came in, threw everything away, and rebuilt it from scratch, but that is another story. And small operation team, right? So we need to organize events and manage event creators in 5 different markets, 5 different languages. So essential. Erika is the third co-founder of WeRoad, and she's the lead of ambassador and community. So she's the one that takes care of the coordinators and all the that part of the community. So, and then we got going. Lots of AI. So as I said, I built the first version with Cursor in 2 days, and they came in and rebuilt the app with Cursor. We use Midjourney quite a bit to do all of the imagery, a bit of the brand, a bit of that stuff. Lovable came in afterwards. Actually, after we launched, we did a bunch of hackathons where Ivan, the product manager, which is there on the left, tried to solve a bunch of the problems that we have with the app. For example, I'll jump in history a little bit. So post-launch of the app, we have a big problem with no-show. So people that sign up for events and then don't turn up, which makes the experience shit, especially when the group is fairly small. So if there's a dinner for 4 and only 1 turns up, it's not that nice. But again, if we did a hackathon, it was there with Lovable, kind of build a prototype of how we could solve the problem, and then we build it with engineers. So AI is helping a lot to actually get this done super fast. I think 2 years ago, I don't think it would have been possible to actually build an app with everything we did in 10 weeks. So fundamentally impossible. So a sprinkle of AI always help. Probably the toughest part of everything is to agree the scope with very opinionated co-founders that wants everything done. We spent a lot of time talking about monetization and how we were going to make money through the app with paid events, blah, 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 blah. Too soon. So lots of debates on agreeing on the scope. And in the end, we got everything aligned on one thing: get shit done, and then make it better. So get the app out, simple, cut the scope, no monetization, no payment, just do it. You reuse the design system that we have from WeRoad. Don't overcomplicate the wheel. That was the only way to get it done, and we just focused and did it. So as I said, launch, boom, boom, go to market, all good, a bit of PR, picked up the release. This is the MAU weekly active users, monthly active users, daily active users. So far, so good. But not so good. So after the peak of the launch, where you get your loyal customers, people that were already at the events, numbers started to go down. So daily active user wasn't growing, a weekly active user wasn't growing. So we sat down and said, okay, maybe get shit done. We cut a few too many corners, and there are a few problems here and there that we need to fix. So fundamentally, then we started looking at time left and a bunch of the other. The one on the left was our home landing page when we launched the app. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? Sorry for swearing. But honestly, what do you understand about this? Right? Well, look at the messaging from time left. Super clear. Stranger, dinner, Wednesday, boom. Done. Download the app, done. That side, yeah, make friends. Well, there is no download the app. There is a QR code, which I honestly think nobody used scanning a QR code on the laptop, or when you're on the phone, you don't even know what to do. And the second part is supply. So in our rush to migrate everything from Meetup and Eventbrite to our own platform and to try to monetize, so we used to pay the coordinator to organize the events because they were seen as an acquisition channel for WeRoad. We say, but what do we do with this? We should stop these. They are a community. They feel a sense of responsibility. We can stop paying them to organize the events. They'll do it. They'll make money by organizing paid events. So everything is going to work, right? But it didn't. So they fundamentally refused to do the events for free. So we had to rush on okay, how do we organize all these different type of events in fundamentally 5 different countries? I think we were looking at 30 different cities, very diverse, from London, Berlin, to Milan, to Bari, to all over the place. Very, very complicated. And we changed the type of supply. So you didn't have any of the bottom-up events. We had to do a lot of work by ourselves to organize the dinners, so contact the restaurants. It became a completely unscalable kind of problem, right? So when you're building a marketplace, a two-sided marketplace, like the supply side and the demand side kind of need to grow side by side is kind of essential, because if you build an unbalanced marketplace, doesn't work. And then we also lost the community because we changed the model. So that was a bit of a shit show. But fundamentally, those mistakes that we made, we went with a too broad supply because we were fundamentally trying everything. It was too much to explain. It was too hard to get the right frequency of events in all the different cities. Yeah, we screwed up. So the fix. I think a month ago, roughly, we released a new homepage, much clearer messaging. We revamped the app. So when you download the app, it's much clearer. We focus on 3 types of events: running club, dinner with new friends, we work after work. Last week, we did an event with some marketing push around 18 cities all around Europe. And we got like 1,200 people to participate to these events in fundamentally one night. And it was so much easier to communicate across all the social channels and everything, right? So, yeah, so these really help having clarity of your identity. The big learn that we made is that we cannot just pretend that we're good at WeRoad, events are going to be fine. It's a completely different thing. It's a completely different market. It's a completely different set of people that are interested in it. So having a clear identity and a clear supply is absolutely necessary to make it work and to grow our community this way. So is it working? It is. So if you look at the user activity over time, it fundamentally picked up. This is a screenshot from a couple of weeks ago, so now it's even higher. We do see that this is where the bookings are coming from. So people that we acquired through WeMeet have also started to book a trip on WeRoad. We do see a super strong correlation, also looking at the historical data before we launched WeMeet, on people that are part of the community that attend events. They tend to repeat more, so they tend to travel with us a lot more. The other thing that we saw, which is very interesting, is that this is the cohort retention by month on people that come to events. So people that did events in July, 21% did another event the month after, and then 8% did 2 months after. So about 20% of the people that do an event come back and stay involved in the community. There is another chart that I don't have here. So we see that 6 or 7% of the people that attend events did a WeRoad before, were WeRoaders already, and about 2% convert to become WeRoaders after, right? So this network effect of structuring and organizing the events is really helping the community to stick together and is really helping WeRoad to grow as a business, right? So this network effect of community and building the community of people passionate about traveling and getting them to meet more often is kind of working. So what is coming up next, right? So we replaced Meetup with our own platform. Coming up next, I think this year, we're going to try and replace the Facebook group, because there is another piece of the community where we don't have control, but there is actually super important for people to decide if they want to travel with WeRoad or not. And we cannot control, at the moment, we cannot control the mechanism. We cannot control who they talk to, what they ask, who respond. So really in getting ownership, full cycle of the digital community is as important as making sure that they have a great community experience. This part is probably the one that we're not going to touch, because in the end, no one is going to replace WhatsApp or Instagram to contact people and talk to people. So yeah, we're never going to become that. But I think the upper funnel of the community is fundamentally something that is crucial for us to grow the digital community as well as the physical community. So we were talking about growth, right? So what is left for us to do. The community seems to be working. The challenge now is to bring value to WeRoad, moving people on more valuable product, right? So we need to make sure that we need to understand the mechanism to make sure that people that come and join an event, go and do a weekend. A lot of the people that don't do group travel is because they have fear of getting to a destination alone, fear of traveling with people they don't know, fear of not connecting with others, right? So we can start getting them involved with the community, which is much smaller event, a night, a few days, hoping that they're gonna take the leap and actually then do become real WeRoader, travel with us, meet new friends. So how many of you are single in general and between 20 and 50? Single, because WeRoad is mainly for single people. Very few couples, like 10% of the people travel with WeRoad are couples. The rest is fundamentally single. So it is fundamentally an evolution of. I mean, we don't say that, but it fundamentally is, right. So if you look at the dating app and the Tinder and the likes are all going down, but people do want in real life connections, right? And do it in a group settings is probably much easier than do it in a dating setting. So we do running clubs. It is, yeah, running clubs are the new dating app. Apparently, that's what they say. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I was very quick as I knew I was. So I'm open to question if you have any. Thank you. There is one last message that I forgot to say, which was supposed to be my conclusion. This is it.
Go ahead.
So for product managers, especially when you're navigating uncertainty, speed of execution, much more important than perfection. So what I was trying to say before is that we made a lot of errors on the way. It really doesn't matter as long as you correct them super fast. And it will be much worse for us to try and get everything perfect and the supply perfect and the message perfect. I mean, we will still be building, but instead we launched, we fixed, and that's it. Now I'm done. Sorry.
Hi, great talk. I'm fascinated by your product, especially because so far I've heard of so many community products that turn out to be a nightmare, basically for the company or for the users, because lack of moderation, getting super toxic, negativities, etc. And you said yourself, you guys have so little control over all the groups.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make sure that they will still get a good product experience and like basically want to go on a trip? Like, how do you make sure it's not toxic?
There is we do a big part of surveys post events. So we tend to really understand the pulse of what people perceive the events. Is it a good event? Is it a bad event? Repeat rate, I think, is always the thing that is going to tell you if people enjoy it. And then I think observing the numbers, how they move. Of course, due to the screw up that we didn't supply, we are also organizing a lot of what we call hostless events. So there is no one from us at the event, like dinner, like the time left model. And I think that is probably a little bit harder to control. But again, as long as you do surveys, listen to the customer and understand their feedback, and you listen to the customer, not just read the feedback and course correct, I think you should be able to keep it under control.
So I was fascinated by when you move fast and you've got all these founders coming up with all these features and you go live really quickly. So massive kudos for that. I think that's brilliant. I'm also imagining there was a point where it got quite nerve-wracking because it's live and it's not working and all the founders had all these features that you didn't ship because you de-scoped them. And I wondered how you as a leader managed that with the founders and your team. How did you navigate that kind of gap?
You open a bottle of Prosecco and don't think about it. No, I mean, honestly, we used to have like a yeah, that is the only answer. And we used to have like a steering meeting every week. So you basically try to explain, okay, we didn't do this because we did this, and this, and these are the things that are coming. Uh, I mean, and keep repeating, there is no magic. No one is gonna build or change the product overnight. The product is live. We have problem on the supply side that needs to be solved before we change the color of the button. I mean, you just need to keep it open, transparent, and clear. And then they're gonna sometimes disagree and be upset about it, but life is life. So don't take it personally.
No, good answers.
I wonder, in this journey when you had the MVP and then you were iterating it, did you find a feature, particular thing that you as a product team discovered and it was not uh, addressed by the founders at the beginning, but it was like a big success? You have two
Uh,
features or user needs that you found
I
out.
think it's still early days because if you look at the app, it's still fairly simple. So it's basically search discovery. You see uh, the main topics. I mean, it is not that complicated. I think the difficult part is going to be now because now we need to start moving the app into a bit more of a social, engaging mechanism, and that is where more question will be asked, right? Because there is a big question mark on, are you really going to be able to replace WhatsApp, right? People usually get together on WhatsApp and organize an event. So how are you going to displace that? How are you going to build something that is better than what they're used to? But I think we also gained the trust with the founders that we launched, we saw the errors, we corrected, so we are in a good place to iterate on top, and we have enough freedom to do so. So yeah, to be seen.
Yeah, so when I think about your product, it's maybe closely related to how I thought about dating apps like 10 years ago, which is, ooh, I'm not that guy. You know, like I'm not the person who needs to go on a dating app. And also, right now, I might think my first reaction is I'm not the person who needs to travel like this because
Yep.
I have friends, right?
Yep.
And so, my question is, how do you tackle this perception that maybe dating apps went through over the last 10 years or so,
Yep.
that actually you can also go on a dating app if you would be able to find someone in real life, and you can also use this app even if you have friends who would travel with you?
Yeah. So I think there are a couple of things that we are looking at for next quarters, which is user-generated content and a bit more of a Q&A and chat around the itinerary and the travel. Because fundamentally, if you think that, is because you don't trust the experience, is because you don't understand the product, is because you're a bit insecure, or you don't think that it's going to work for you, right? So I think the best thing we can do is to show people other real people that did that and that did find friends and that did meet other people. Then there is always going to be a subset that is not going to do it. But for people that travel in couple, for example, a few months ago we launched. There is like a free private room for people that book into. So if you don't want to stay in a room with a completely unknown person, you can travel with a friend. We build a refer a friend program, so you can bring friends and you have a little bit of a discount for them and for you. So that is one big part of it. But yeah,
Don't get me wrong, I like the.
no, yeah, like I mean that and flights are the two big problems that we have at the moment, because WeRoad is a package tour but with no flights, with flights not included. So there is a big fear of how do I get to Indonesia on day one, where I'm not used to travel by myself. But for that, we build a feature where if you booked already your flight, you can share it with other people in your group. So pre-booking, you can see other people where they're flying from, and maybe you can say, okay, we are leaving from Milan, I'll fly with you. So at least we connect the dots. But again, it really is about understanding the product and the customer behavior, where they get stuck, and kind of remove all the layers of uncertainty that blocks them.
um, built the app after you had some big experience with the founders and the community that existed already. Do you think that there was a blind spot also at the founders on the MVP and that you would do differently looking back?
Do I think I will do something different on the app looking back? Again, I think the MVP that we built is really like the minimum stuff that you need for the app to work, which is fundamentally search, look at details of the event, finding a map, and RSVP. That's fundamentally it. So to do something more, you will have had to remove something, which is a bit of a trade-off. Probably I would have avoided a lot of the discussion that we had around monetization. We spent a lot of time talking about, do we build a membership model or do we get a pay-per-usage? There was a lot of discussion on strategy that was probably premature for what we had to build, and it would have been much better to focus on, okay, MVP, how do we make the MVP better from the get-go? How, if we're unhappy about the design system, how can we change that a little bit? And I think it would have been much more useful to the MVP. But again, down here.
You. Question about the community. So how much do you, I understand it's an MVP, so you don't have everything built yet, but how much do you plan to invest then into community building? How much of it is matching? How much of it you leave it to the people selecting their peers and groups? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to mention the AI thing, but automation, let's say, and
So it is a bit self-selective, right? Because if you like running, you look for your running club around you. If you like drinking, you look for the after work drinks. Right? So there is a little bit of that. I think where we can do a lot more is on nudging people to go to an event because we know who they are and what they look for. So especially people that come on the website, they look for a trip in Indonesia, then we can basically match, okay, some other person in your area is looking for the same trip, and I think you can facilitate that. I also have the fear that if you nudge too much and you show people that you know too much about them, then people are kind of like, the fuck. And so you need to be very careful with that. But yeah, I mean, we're also, the decision that we took, it took us a little bit more time, is to build the app and fundamentally use the same profile and account across the website and the app, even if it would have been much, much faster to build an event app completely separate from WeRoad. But now this gives us a much, much clearer data set and visibility of the behavior of the customer. And I think we can really build a much bigger understanding of who they are.
there's no other questions, so I'll follow up quickly with something. So would you bet more on matching people based on their interests and profiles, or more going from the event and then spreading from there, right? They were interested in specific events and then just based on that, or something combination of both, or is there one safe bet?
Well, I don't think we're ever going to do one-on-one matching based on the profiles. Is not who we are, is not our mission, right? So our mission is to get you to meet people in a group environment. That pure dating one-on-one is not something we do. But to get people together with a similar set of interests, again, something that I didn't say, right? So we do 25 to 49, but it's divided in group ages. So we fundamentally believe that you have the best experience if you travel people with a similar profile, similar interest, and small group. So fundamentally 10 to 15, we think is the best number. So aside from some big events that we do that are more marketing driven, most of the rest is a small group because you can really get to know people better.
Isn't that?
A question from a WeRoader. So now.
So how do you introduce, or when in the user journey do you introduce the community, and when do you try to push for the community and go from a one-time user? Like for me, I used it one time from a referral, but how do you make sure that that one-time user that just went for the experience is going to go back and just really understand the community value?
So again, as I said, the two major acquisition loop are this one and that one. So we bring people from Instagram, you get to know the brand, we take you to the website, and then the Facebook group. So most of the 60% of the people that book at WeRoad join the Facebook group just before or just after booking and pre-travel. So the big part of the digital community is fundamentally that one. And it is usually where people meet up to 3 weeks before departure. Then a big chunk tend to do events before or after they booked, or before or after the trip. So the real community get together on the events, and the big number of repeaters usually come back to that. Now we need to do a much better job at nudging people that have done a trip to tell them, okay, you've done a trip, you've made friends. By the way, these people that travel with you next week are going to run in Berlin. So that is fundamentally the loop that will give them the opportunity to stay connected, and then hopefully they come back. So that's the.
I actually have two questions myself. So you were mentioning referral, and we were talking about referral in the previous talk.
Yeah.
You said that you are using referrals. How is it working for you? And do you have any insights?
So Matteo, which is the PM that built the referral program, gives me all the numbers every week.
Okay.
So fundamentally, we launched the referral program 3-4 months ago, I think, 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah. And so far, we had 900 refer a friend. So it means that we generated almost €1 million in refer a friend. And it's a good refer a friend because it gives a 5% discount immediately to the person you referred, and you get 5% discount on your next trip, up to 50% off. So if you recommend 10 people, you fundamentally cut in half the cost of your trip. So I think there is a dual incentive which is working very well. But we were discussing before with Asia. Fundamentally, at the moment, we only talk about refer a friend to the WeRoaders, so the people that are already in the community. But she's right. Like fundamentally, you have three touch points where you can do that: post-booking, pre-trip, post-trip. And we don't do enough nudging of new customers that could refer other friends and bring them into the community even before they go on trip. So I came away with a lot of ideas from the previous talk. So.
And my second question is because I remember yesterday you told me that you started, and you were mentioning this today as well, that you are started working in other countries. I remember you did a huge campaign in Berlin in December or in January or something like this. Are there any differences between countries in the way how the people behave?
Yeah, so I mean, WeRoad is an Italian business, born in Italy. First year we did fundamentally Italy, then COVID hit, and then we kind of recover. And post-COVID, we launched Spain, then we launched UK, and then we launched Germany and France. But as of today, Italy is still like probably 70% of the business. And we saw France and Germany started almost at the same speed as Italy, roughly the same. But we did see there is a little bit harder in Germany to go mass market, and we did a little bit of market research. And in Italy, well, I mean, we are behaving in the new countries as we are behaving in Italy, but not how we behaved in Italy 5 years ago.
Okay.
So that's the problem, right? So we need to go back on what did we do 5 years ago in Italy to get the brand trusted and recognized in these markets. Because if you try to do advertising the same way, there is a clear mismatch, right? So we need to kind of go back to the original a little bit and really talk more about the trust and the brand and what we do, and explain even the website, right? So if you look at the website, and Matteo was showing me Airbnb 2014, they had a big button, how does it work? Now they don't have it anymore. They don't need it. So WeRoad at the beginning in Italy, there was a big button, how does it work? Now we don't have it in Italy, but we also don't have it on the other markets as well, which is probably a big mistake because, and also in Italy, the focus is on new customers. So having the button back on how it works might actually help a lot more to kind of convince people that don't trust that don't trust the experience to really understand how it works, right? So there is a difference in culture and markets, but it is also a difference in the stage and maturity of the business and the brand.
Yeah, thank you, Simone. It was a great talk for a shy guy. Here is a present from us.
Thank you very much.